The 1960s were a vibrant period of momentous cultural, social, and technological shifts that wore their way through the fabric of the nation's identity. Yet as the wheels of time turn, numerous aspects of 1960s America have faded, becoming nostalgic memories of a bygone era. In this video, we'll explore some of these vanished elements. Join Facts as we present 10 things from 1960s America that are gone forever. The Chevrolet Corvair. The Chevrolet Corvair, produced by General Motors from 1960 to 69, was a compact car that became notorious due to concerns about its safety. With its air-cooled rear engine and unique suspension system, the Corvair was initially popular and even received Motor Trend's Car of the Year award in 1960. But the vehicle came under scrutiny due to perceived instability at high speeds, which was famously highlighted by Ralph Nader in his book, Unsafe at Any Speed. The negative publicity, coupled with emerging competition and changing consumer preferences, led to declining sales and the eventual discontinuation of the model. Fizzies. Fizzies were effervescent tablets that, when dropped into a glass of water, created an instant carbonated beverage. Introduced in the late 50s, Fizzies reached their peak popularity during the 60s, offering a novel and fun way for children and adults alike to enjoy a fizzy drink. But with changing food regulations and growing concerns about the artificial sweeteners used in the product, Fizzies gradually fell out of favor. Though they've been reintroduced in various forms over the years, Fizzies have never regained their initial widespread popularity. Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers, or Fred Rogers, was a beloved television personality who hosted Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood from 1968 till 2001. His gentle demeanor, heartfelt messages, and the welcoming neighborhood he created provided comfort and learning to generations of children. While Mr. Rogers himself is no longer with us, having passed away in 2003, his legacy endures through his timeless messages of kindness, understanding, and neighborly love, continuing to reach new generations through various media and initiatives that preserve and extend his teachings. Celery-flavored Jell-O. Celery-flavored Jell-O, introduced in the 60s, was one of the many experimental flavors that Jell-O introduced during this era, looking to capitalize on the trend of using gelatin in savory dishes. But unlike the sweet flavors that have become staples at family gatherings and desserts, celery and other savory Jell-O flavors did not enjoy sustained popularity. Changing culinary trends and consumer preferences led to the discontinuation of these flavors, as sweet and fruit-flavored gelatins remain the preferred choice. American Bandstand. American Bandstand, hosted by Dick Clark, was a music, performance, and dance television show that aired from 1952 to 89. In the 60s, it was a significant cultural phenomenon, showcasing various music acts, influencing dance styles, and becoming a platform for artists to reach wider audiences. While the show was immensely popular and influential during its run, changing music trends, viewing habits, and the advent of new platforms for showcasing music led to its eventual decline and final episode in the late 20th century. Bikes with banana seats. Bikes with banana seats and high handlebars, often referred to as chopper bicycles, became a popular trend among children and teens in the 60s. These bikes, with their distinctive design and aesthetic, were symbols of freedom and adventure for young riders. But as trends and design performances evolved, and with the advent of BMX and mountain bikes, the popularity of banana seat bicycles waned, becoming nostalgic symbols of a particular era in cycling history. Walking on the Moon. Walking on the Moon, achieved during the Apollo 11 mission in 1969, was a monumental accomplishment in human history and a defining moment of the 60s. Subsequent Apollo missions also brought astronauts to the lunar surface, conducting experiments and exploration. But due to the immense costs, risks, and shifting priorities, manned moon missions were discontinued after Apollo 17 in 1972. While there are discussions and plans for future lunar exploration, The era of regular manned moon missions remains a historic period from the past. The floppy disk drive. The floppy disk drive, which became a standard for data storage and transfer during the latter part of the 20th century, actually had its origins in the 1960s. As technology advanced, data storage evolved, and devices like USB drives, CDs, and cloud storage offered larger capacities and more convenient methods of transferring and storing data, rendering the floppy disk and floppy disk drive obsolete. Flour-flavored Pez Candies. Flour-flavored Pez Candies, like the violet-flavored Pez, were part of the brand's offering in the past. Pez, known for its distinctive dispensers and small candy bricks, has experimented with various flavors throughout its history. But as consumer preferences shifted towards fruitier and more familiar flavors, some of the more unconventional Pez flavors, like flour variants, were discontinued. Flatsy Doll. The Flatsy Doll, introduced in the 1960s, was a flat, posable doll that became popular among children for a period. With its distinctive design and various accessories and playsets, Flatsy dolls offered imaginative play for kids. But like many toy trends, Flatsy dolls eventually faded from popularity as new toys and trends emerged, becoming nostalgic collectibles for those who remember them. And now that we've listed off 10 of our favorites, let's keep going. Rotary phones. Rotary phones, with their distinctive dialing mechanism, were once a staple in American households. In the 60s, they were not only a means of communication, but also a symbol of modernity and connection in the post-war era. The rotary dial, patented in 1891, became the standard for telephone dialing, with the Bell system deploying it widely across its network. During the 60s, families would gather around these devices to talk with loved ones far away. But with the advent of touch-tone dialing technology in the 70s and subsequently the explosion of mobile phone technology, rotary phones became obsolete. Drive-in theaters. Drive-in theaters, with their massive screens illuminating the night, were a quintessential part of American culture in the 60s, offering a unique blend of entertainment and social interactions. Drive-ins were not merely a place to watch films, but also they were vibrant social hubs where people gathered to interact, socialize, and enjoy a shared experience under the stars. The first drive-in theater opened in 1933 in New Jersey, and the concept quickly gained popularity, peaking in the 50s and 60s with over 4,000 theaters across the nation. But with the advent of home video technology in the 70s and 80s and the rise of multiplex theaters, drive-ins began to see a decline. While a few operate today, offering a nostalgic experience, they're no longer a predominant feature of American entertainment culture. Milk delivery. Milk delivery was once a common sight in American neighborhoods, with the milkman and his truck being symbols of mid-century suburban life. In the 60s, it wasn't uncommon to see milk bottles lined up on doorsteps, as families often relied on home delivery for dairy products. It was convenient and a reflection of the consumer culture of the era, where personalized door-to-door service was prevalent in many areas of the country. But with the expansion of supermarkets and the advent of improved refrigeration and transportation technologies, it became easier and more economical for consumers to purchase milk during regular shopping trips. Now it's time to hear from you. Do you remember any of these fascinating things from the 60s? Let us know in the comments section below.